Right, so now we're going to be talking about HOCs. It stands for high order components. So this is another topic that it sometimes is hard to understand by developers because most of the times we don't understand where to use it or why using it. So I'm going to give you different approaches. I'm going to start with the easiest one. So I'm going to go to profiles.js, and inside profiles, if you go to profile, of course, it's doing the redirection. So I'm going to comment this out. Okay. So we go to profile and we get take me to profile photos, and everything is going to be just the link. Let me just delete the redirection. Good. So now what happens if this link, this content we have right here, let's say that this code is going to be something that you're going to be using the whole time in your application. You're going to repeat this JSX inside post, maybe inside home. You're going to do this a lot. So we could use a high order component just to show a template of this. This is one way of using high order components. So what you're going to do, I'm going to go to to source. I'm going to create a new folder that is going to be called HOCs. And right here, I'm going to create a new file that is going to be called card.js, whatever. So I'm going to copy the contents of home, the template of a component, and this one is going to be called card, and then we're going to call this one card. Okay, good. That's good. So now what this card it's returning is going to be some div. But the thing is that what we want to do, we want to call this to include this card component, grab whatever we have right here, send it back to card, and then render that content inside the template that we have right here. Now, if you remember, we could do this with props.children. Okay. So first, I'm going to include the card component. I'm going to say import then card from open and close dot / and we go back to HOCs. And we need to bring card. Good. So now this component, the card component, it's available inside profiles. Good. Okay. So I'm going to go back to card, and I'm going to create just a variable. I'm going to create just a variable that, we're going to be changing this style. So let's add a style just to check. So I'm going to create a variable that is going to be called style, and this one is going to be equal to background, something simple. Background and then light gray. Make sense? Light gray. Good. So now I'm going to go right here. I'm going to say style, then open and close, and we're going to say style. Okay. So now what I want to do, whenever I want to render this, is going to be rendered within this template, and this is going to be wrapped inside the card, and it's going to change the background to light gray. So right here, this component is going to be receiving some props. And right here, since we want to render whatever we're going to be passing from profiles, we always rendered props.children. Just like that. Okay, so this one is ready. It's receiving some props. It's returning a div and whatever contents we have inside props.children, and we're going to have the background of light gray. Good. So I'm going to go right here. We are importing the card. So the only thing that I need to do right here, I need to call this component, to use this component. So I'm going to say card and then just card. And everything is going to get rendered, and we have the background of light gray. So we are using this component as a high order component of all the contents we have right here. So this is the very basic idea of a high order component. They're going to get a little bit difficult to understand. We're going to move forward right now to the next topic, which is a different way of using high order components. But this is the simplest way of a high order component, and you're going to be using again this the whole time. And when we hit the practice section of the course, we're going to use this a lot. We're going to use it for pretty much for everything. Okay, so let's go to the next approach of this. Okay, so let's see a different approach of this. Let's pretend that this profile section needs authentication. So if the user is authenticated, we want to let the user in. If not, we're going to kick the user out, or we're going to, just show an error message. So we need to create a high order component to do this. And I'm gonna go right now to HOCs and create a new file that is gonna be called auth, just like that, auth. So of course this auth is gonna be just a component. Just gonna copy this and paste the markup, and I'm gonna call it auth, just like we did before. Okay, I'm gonna delete all of this for now. Just gonna delete it, and this one, this auth is gonna receive some props, and the only thing that it's gonna do is gonna return props, the children. For now, we're just gonna do this. It's the only thing that we're gonna do. So now I'm gonna go to profiles, and I'm going to re-import this auth. I'm gonna say import, then auth, then from, and we do .. /HOCs / and then we bring auth, just like that. And if you notice, this is still working. Okay, so we are not getting errors. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go right here, and instead of doing div, I'm gonna create this auth component. And I'm going to wrap everything inside auth, just like that. There we go. And close. So now, notice that this is still working. So we are bringing auth, which is a component that is going to receive some children. The job of auth is just to return the children. So okay, it's going to go to the next step. Then card is going to get some children. And card, the job of card is going to be wrapping everything inside a div with a style and then return the children. And then of course, we get the link. So everything is in kind of a cascade style. So okay, so now the job of auth is not going to be just returning the children. We're going to do something else right here. So the job of auth is going to be checking if the password is correct. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to make this a proper function. So let's say that the user, and of course we are pretending, we're going to get to this part later. This is going to get a lot more complex. So let's say that whenever the user enters, we're going to get something that it's password 123. That's the password of the user right now. So we're going to be doing an if-else statement. So if the password of the user matches something, we want to let the user in. If not, we are not going to let the user in. So we're going to say if the pass is going to be equal to, password 123. If not, we're going to do something else. Let me do the else. Okay, so if the password is different than 123, what we want to do, we want to return just an h3 tag saying you are not authorized, something like that. Now, if the password is correct, which means that password 123 equals password 123, of course, we want to return and then props the children. We're going to move forward with that tree. Okay. So this is going to reload and, we get props the children. If I add a number 4, for example, this one are not going to be the same. We're going to get you're not authorized. So what is happening right here? Let's go again with the whole process. We are including card, which is an HOC, and auth, which is an HOC. So the first step is going to be going to the auth component. It's going to be entering auth component, and it's going to pass all the children's. So auth is going to check if the password is correct or not. Since the password is not correct, instead of returning all the children's, which is going to be all of this code right here, it's going to return just an h3 tag. So the result of this, instead of having this, is going to be something like that. So this is what we are getting right now. Now, if the password is correct, it's going to move forward and return props the children. Okay, so inside props the children, what we have is going to be the card. Now the card is going to pass whatever children we have inside card, and it's going to do the same process. It's going to first add a div, and inside the div is going to return the children. So we get all of this. So now the result is going to be something like that. And of course, then we have the rest of the children's, which is going to be the link, the final code. And we get the same result. Let me save this, reload, we get not authorized. And if you go to auth and match the passwords, it's working. Okay, So this auth as an HOC, it's pretty common. We're gonna be using this when we reach the authorization, the auth part of the course, auth and security. We're gonna be using an HOC, and we're gonna be using again HOCs for a lot of things. So okay, that's good. Makes sense. But we need to talk about something else. I could have skipped this. It's a kind of a different approach of HOCs. And I'm going to tell you how this works because maybe if you inspect someone else's code, you're going to find an HOC with this kind of a weird syntax. So let's go to the next section. It's going to be a little bit long. So let's go to the next section and I'm going to show you this weird HOC.